Good morning, guys. Week 2 of virtual learning. As you know, spring break starts on Friday and lasts all next week. So I'm going to be jumping on here to go over Monday through Thursday's practice pages. I'm going to go day by day, page by page. That way you can check in anytime this week if you need any refresher on what to do. On page 21, it starts with a standard and expanded form. Just a refresher for standard, expanded, and word form. Standard form is your regular number. As you see here, I have 23,892. Expanded form is taking each place value and breaking it up. So we start with our biggest place value, which would be in the 10,000s, and that means I have 20,000 plus 3,000 plus 800 plus 90 plus 2. With word form, however you say the number is exactly how you write the number, as if it was just word format, okay? So 23, and I told you guys that always think about that comma as the word thousand. 23,000 800 92. Okay, so that's just a refresher on page 21 for standard, expanded, and word form. Reminder for the place value chart that they give you, you have to identify the digit and what place value it would be. And they only go up to the 10,000, so they're making it kind of easy on you. Just a reminder, that same number that we just did, we know this would be the ones place. This would be the tens place, the hundreds, the thousands, and the 10,000s. And of course, the worksheet doesn't move on to this next digit, but if we had a digit here, we know that it would be the 100,000s, because we work with pretty big numbers in Miss Brogen's 4th grade class. Okay, moving on to page 22. If you don't have a ruler to measure the dimensions of those shapes for area and perimeter, let me know and I can tell you the sides of them. Or you can just do your best with estimating based on the example. Just a quick reminder, I know my last video talked about it, but when we talk about area and we talk about perimeter, you're going to want to remember that area equals the length times the width, and then the perimeter equals 2 of the lengths plus 2 of the widths. So I gave you an example last week, and it should be pretty fresh in your head, but if you have a rectangle like this, one side is 6, one side is 3, the area would just be 6 times 3, which is 18. Let's just say this is inches squared. And then we know for perimeter, we double that side to get 12. We double that side, 3 plus 3 is 6. And then we add the 2 together, and just so happens that the perimeter is also 18. It doesn't always happen like that. Page 23 is just talking about multiplication and division facts. Page 24, multiplication and division problems. And then page 25 is talking about taking a standard number and breaking it up into its expanded parts. So they had given, I made up my own problems, I didn't give yours away. But for example, for 37,805, they broke it up for you into individual parts, and then you would have to find the blank. So we know that 30,000 is here, 7,000 is here. We don't have 800 anywhere, but we do have 5. Obviously, if there's a 0, you don't need to put plus 0 because it stands for nothing. So our answer would be plus 800. That's the missing digit. Okay, so that's a review of all of Monday's work. Moving on to Tuesday, page 26 through 30. All right, so page 26 is asking you, the first one is a multi-step problem, so make sure you're solving step 1 before solving step 2. And for number 2, make sure you identify the appropriate keyword for the operation. I don't want to tell you what to do, adding or subtracting or multiplying or dividing, so make sure you're finding that keyword. Page 27 is talking about time, and I wanted to do a refresher on that. So I'm looking at number 1 on page 27, and it's asking you to find out what time it would be 25 minutes after the time on the clock. I want to refresh you on the hour hand and the minute hand. Remember, the hour hand is the small hand. The minute hand is the big hand. So what I have here is the hour hand is pointing at the 7. The minute hand is pointing at the 2. And we know that for every number that it's on, it's 5 minutes. So we have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. And we know there's 60 minutes in an hour. So this would tell me that this is at 5, 10 minutes. So we have 7, 10 on my clock. And it doesn't matter right now for AM or PM. But it's asking what time it would be if I added on 25 minutes after 7:10. Okay, so you can either draw a picture if it helps, use the picture that they give you, if you just know it in your head, whatever works for you. But 7:10 plus 25 minutes, I'm going to count 5 minutes, 10, 15, 20, 25, and I know that this puts me at 35 minutes. And we also know that 10 minutes plus 25 minutes is 35 minutes. So that would put me at 7:35 on my clock. I did take an example, not from the workbook page, but if I put this clock up, and let's say I want you to find 20 minutes before this clock. So let's take a look at what time this clock would say. The hour hand is a small hand, it's pointing at the 5, the minute hand is pointing at the 3, and we know that 5, 10, 15. This would be 5:15, and I want to find out 20 minutes before 5:15. So we're going to an earlier time. We're going backwards in time. So again, the clock is really helpful for this visual. So we're going to count 20 minutes. We have 5, 10, 15. Now that would put me right at 5 o'clock. But now we still have to go back 5 more minutes. So 5, 10, 15, 20 puts me here. So I'm leaving the 5 o'clock hour and I'm going backwards into the 4 o'clock hour. And the minute hand would be at the 11, which would tell me that that's 55 minutes. A quick math would tell me that each number is 5 minutes and 11 times 5 is 55 minutes. So it would bring me to 4:55 a.m. or p.m. So that's a refresher on the time. Page 29, you just have to match the riddle to the word form. So just a reminder on the word form, if you're taking a standard number, you need to be able, which I know you guys all do a great job with it, but you need to be able to say the number correctly in order to write it correctly. So, for example, if I have 68,907, we need to make sure that we are able to write that out. Trying to write fast for you. 68,000, because that comma tells me it's the thousands place. 907. So you're just matching the riddle with the word form. Okay. Page 30 is talking about coins. Okay. So page 30, I brought some coins down just to remind you on the values of each of them. So here we have a quarter that's worth 25 cents. We've talked a lot about quarters and 25s, even with fractions and decimals. Next you have your dime, and your dime is worth 10 cents. You have your nickel, and your nickel is worth 5 cents. And then you have your penny, and that's worth 1 cent. Okay, so your quarter, dime, and nickel are gonna come up in, I believe it is page 36. 31 and 36, you're both gonna need to know the coins amount. So I will write this up here for you, just for you to have it. But a quarter, 25 cents, a dime, 10 cents, a nickel, 5 cents, and a penny, 1 cent. Page 31 is also going to ask you about a $50, and that's the big coin that you see, the one that's not a quarter, dime, nickel, or penny. So a $50 is literally half of a dollar, which is 50 cents, and that's the biggest coin that you're going to see on page 31. So a $50 is 50 cents. And your job on page 31 is to combine the money that they give you into a dollar amount. So for example, if they were to tell you $3 and 5 quarters and 3 dimes, your job is to put it together into a dollar and decimal amount. So we know $3 is obviously $3, but then when you look at the quarters, I know that 5 quarters is more than $1 because we've been talking a lot in class about 25, 50, 75, 100. 4 quarters makes a whole other dollar. So if I have 5 quarters, you have to think about it as I have $1 and then I have 25 cents left over. So really I have $4. Then we have our 25 cents and our 3 dimes. We know each dime is worth 10, so 3 dimes is 30 cents. 30 cents plus my 25 cents would give me 55 cents, $4.55. So that'll be a good review for you with money on page 31. Page 32 is asking you to subtract money. I just want to say make sure, I'm going to pick a different word problem. I don't want to give those 2 away. But make sure that when you're subtracting the $5 and the $10 for problem 1 and 2 with the money that they're giving you in the problem, make sure that you're adding a decimal and choose zeros after the 5 and the 10 or it's not going to line up. For example, I go to the store and I buy a hairbrush for $3.22 and I pay with a $5 bill and I want to know how much change I receive. You can't have $5 here and $3.22 or 5 and $3.22, right? That's not going to match up because my 5 and my $3.22 don't look the same. Really quick fix for that is make your 5 into decimal 00 to show you that it's $5, okay? And then you would just subtract it the regular way. I cannot do 0 minus 2. I go over here to borrow. I cannot borrow from nothing. So I go to my 5, I borrow, make it a 4. 0 becomes a 10, but I have to borrow from that 10 again in order to make this 0 a 10. So I have to borrow from him again, make it a 9, and then that can finally become a 10. 10 minus 2, 8, 9 minus 2, 7. Bring down that decimal, very important, and 4 minus 3 is $1. So I would get $1.78 in change. All right, page 33, the challenge questions, 62 times 5 and 63 times 5. Make sure you're not, make sure you're using the work that you already have done. If you find out what 62 times 5 is, then finding out 63 times 5 would just be adding one more group of 5. So do not do extra work if you have problems that can help you with the next problem. Page 34 is multiplication word problems, and as a reminder on that, you have 2 options. Well, we have more than 2 options, but 2 options that we talked about in class. For 14 times 6, you can either do it by breaking apart 14 into my 2 parts. We can break apart 14 into 10 and 4. We would do 10 times 6, which is 60, 4 times 6, which is 24, and simply add those together to get 84. Or we could do a standard algorithm, which we've been talking about in class. Start in the ones place, 4 times 6, 24. It's a 2-digit number, so the 4 has to go on the bottom. The 2 needs to be regrouped over the 10s. Then we do 6 times 1 is 6. And just like adding, we regroup whatever we add in whatever we regrouped. So 6 times 1, 6, plus 2 would give me 8. Okay, so that's for page 34. Page 35 is giving you an array. We're almost done. Thanks for tuning in. Page 35 is giving you an array. So if I have an array like this, what this is telling me is I have 5 over here. I have this line equals 10. These are 6. So my array would look like 5 times 10 is 50. 5 times 6 is 30. Your addition equation would simply look, your addition equation would be 50 plus 30 to give me a total of 80. And your multiplication equation would be, I really am taking 16. I have 10 and 6, and I just broke apart 16 into 10 and 6. So the multiplication equation is really 16 times 5 to equal 80. Again, because I broke apart 10 times 5 and 6 times 5, which is still doing 16 groups of 5. Okay. Page 36. The one thing I wanted to mention is just make sure the apricots cost 15 cents each, but he has 3 sisters and he's giving each sister 3 apricots. So make sure you don't just do 15 times 3. There's that hidden step. Page 37 and 39. We haven't done this in class. We have not done these addition and multiplication puzzles in class, but I was looking at it and I thought it was really cool. So taking a look at the addition one, I took this from the book. So taking a look at the addition problem, what it's asking you is it's saying that this number plus this number plus this number should all equal 179. And 80 plus 30 plus something should equal 160. 75 plus 13 plus 50 should equal something here. And then diagonally, it's saying that this plus this plus this should equal 166. So once you find those numbers, if this number and this number and this number don't equal 166, something went wrong. The example problems are really, really helpful. I could have wrote that out, but I figured, you know, you could just look at the examples and check in with me if you have any questions at all. So that's the addition one. And then also going the other way, this number plus this number plus this number should equal 225. And then across 179, across 160, and across, we're not sure. You have to add those up, okay? For the multiplication one, I was thinking as fill in what you definitely know and then go from there. For example, I know that, so diagonally, this number times this number times this number have to equal 36. Well, if you think about that, 3 times 2 is 6. And what number times 6 is equal to 36? 6. So 3 times 2 is 6. And I know that 6 times 6 is 36. So I'm going to fill in, that's 6 right here. It's not showing up very well. So now I can ask myself, what's 6 times 2? 6 times 2 is 12. 12 times 6 is 72. So that works. So I'm done with that column. Going off, let's see, what else would it be helpful? Okay, let's go the opposite way. 6 times 2 is 12, and 12 times something is 60. I could start there. 7 times 2 is 14, and 14 times something is 42. I could start there. I'm going to do that one. 7 times 2 is 14, and 14 times something is 42. Well, 14 plus 14 is 28, and 28 plus another 14 is 42. So 14 times 3 groups of 14 is 42. So I figured that one out. Let's see, we only have a couple left. So let's try and figure out this one. 6 times 2 is 12. 12 times something is 60. 12, 24, 36, 48, 60. It took me 5 times to get there. So 6 times 2 is 12. 12 times 5 is 60. Sorry, this pen's not working. Okay, and then finally, I would have to find 3 times something, then take that number and times it by 5 to give me 75. I don't want to leave that one as a challenge for you. So try out page 37 and 39 if you're feeling comfortable with it. If not, it is not something we've seen in class, so don't stress too much about it. But I would love to see your answers if you try it out. And then finally, page 40 is just asking you to identify information that you don't need and cross it off and solve with the problems that you do need. So I know this was kind of a long video. Thank you for tuning in. The good thing about this video is any specific page that you need help with, you can always fast forward, go back. If you have any questions at all, this entire week I'm available through Dojo. You can email anything to me at amy.brogen@smyrna.k12.de.us, which is on all of my Google Slides that I've sent to you. And then also you can share it to me at amy.brogen@smyrnaeagles.org. I know I went through that fast, but everything on Google Classroom this week has my information for you to reach out. And of course, Dojo is always an option too. Hope this video helped you. I miss you all so much, and I hope you have a great week. Get outside, get some fresh air, and definitely enjoy spring break next week. Bye, guys.